Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome yet again to another episode of Dinner Guide. My name is Chef Andy, and today I've got something particularly special for you. I've got something very local, actually a bunch of local ingredients that I want to show you what you can be able to do with. But before we continue, I'm going to start off all first by introducing them. So from the very furthest end here, I've got some very beautiful cut up liver. I've also got some fresh kale here, some black pepper, some olive oil and some salt for seasoning. I've also got some fresh parsley and some fresh radish here, some pre-cooked bananas, a bit of carrot, a bit of some beautiful cherry tomatoes, and some garlic, and last but not least, some onions. So without further ado, we're gonna jump straight into this, but before we do, we're gonna give you this chance to grab your pens and papers if you'll be taking notes, and when we come back, we're gonna dive right into it. So don't touch that dial, we'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who are just catching up with what we are making today, we're going to be making some very beautiful liver. We're going to be pairing that with some kale and some matoke. And we're also going to be serving this with a very beautiful smoothie, which contains a bit of radish, a bit of carrot, and a bit of cherry tomatoes. But first of all, we're going to start with our liver. Very simple recipe, something that most of you should be able to do on your own, and it's only going to take 3 ingredients. As I mentioned, we're all about budget, so I'm going to be working with salt and pepper for seasoning. I'm going to use a bit of garlic just to give it a bit of flavor, and I'm just going to finish it off with this beautiful parsley, and we can just go straight on to the rest. So we're gonna go first of all by putting a bit of oil in our pot here. Just give it a bit of time to heat up. Right, so just wiggle that oil a little bit, make sure to coat the sides of your pot. And we're gonna go in first with a bit of garlic. And basically all you want to do is just fry that slightly. Just get the aromas to really sink into that oil. And once you've got that beautiful garlic aroma just swimming through the room, go in with your liver. And remember, we are cooking this at high heat. So just give it a quick mix and then just allow for your pan to really get the sizzle in there. Right, so this should basically cook really fast. I like to particularly start off by just frying it as it is. Remember, first of all, the most particular thing that you should remember about meat, the more natural you keep it, the little you put in, it actually goes a long way. So for this particular dish, I'm only going to use just a little bit of garlic, and that should actually swim through with flavor all the way to the kale and just combine really well with that beautiful smoothie. Right. Nice beautiful color coming through there. So next up, we're going to start off on the other side with a bit of kale, but of course we're going to start off by first of all chopping it up. So I'm just going to grab a knife, and one particular technique I could share with you about cutting your kale really fast, I like to just layer my leaves right on top of each other like that. And remember, this have already been cleaned, so it's only a matter of just cleaning them up. You can actually be able to clean your kale and keep it in the fridge overnight, so you can actually be able to do this maybe hours in the morning and then just come in later and just start chopping up everything. So I'm just going to start by rolling that up like that. So give it a bit of space, and we're gonna keep that on the side. So very simple, just roll it into more like a folder. And basically all you need now is your chef knife. And all you need to do is start shredding. Remember, what you're looking for is a constant, steady chopping. Remember, you don't really want to serve your kale on the table and you've got one big chunky piece and a bunch of tiny little ones. So I always insist, every time you get the roll, and it just makes it easier every time you cut like that, you always get the same thickness. And it even looks more, it even actually looks more presentable even on your plate. Right, so just to finish off the kale, just gather that on your board. Right, so we're going to start off by preheating our pan on the other side. And I'm going to simply just add a bit of olive oil in there. So you will notice olive oil carries through the whole dish. You may not be able to afford or find a bit of olive oil wherever you are, or as I said, in this particular circumstances in the January month. But if you can be able to substitute it with some very good vegetable oil or with some canola oil or some coconut oil, it will actually do a very, very, very big difference. Another particular oil I could probably mention, you could also work with palm oil. It's a little new in the market, but it does actually carry so much more flavor than the other three that I mentioned. And if you can be able to get that onto your shelves, or if you already have it, I recommend you can actually use that too. So just to finish off the liver, just keep frying until you get that beautiful gray color. The liver should actually start to really form into some chunks. But as we continue, I'm going to just swing your attention to the other side. I'm just going to go in with the kale. And as you can hear the sizzle, very, very hot pan. Particularly a good reminder for those of you who always wonder how you can keep your veggies really green. A hot pan will definitely always give you that advantage. Right, so I'm just going to start off by allowing the kale to just absorb all that oil in the pan. And to that, we're gonna also add a bit of some red onion. Bit of skin there. So very, very simply, a few incisions to your onion, lengthways, turn it around, and just start by finishing that off. And now as for the liver, it's now starting to really dry off, and you can actually get that dry scent in the room. Once you get to that stage, I would recommend just turn your heat as low as possible. Allow it to cook for 2 to 3 minutes more. Just finish that off with a bit of freshly ground peppercorn and a small pinch of salt. Give that another mix again. And you can now just turn that off. Just give that a few minutes to cool off. In the meantime, we're just going to take our concentration back to the pot with the kale. So we already have some kale frying in there. It's now nice and dry. And the pot is a little dry as well. So just a little bit more olive oil. Add your onions in there. Just to finish off that last piece. And all our onion goes in there. So using a spoon, just give that a thorough mix through. Right, right? So that's just starting to look really good. Now just to season that slightly, a little bit of salt and a small crush of some freshly ground peppercorns. And now just basically all you need to do is turn down the heat a little bit, give it a quick mix. And now this is now ready to come out of the pan. So I'm just going to grab a plate. And we're basically gonna go in and just get that out of the pan just to avoid it from overcooking. Right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can be able to see now, nice beautiful green kale there, and you can be able to actually you actually get the beautiful bite out of it, and this just needs nothing else. This is ready to go. Now just to continue and finish off the rest of your dish, remember you already have your liver cooked, you've got your kale cooked, now you only need your matoke, and I'm just going to show you how to get to that stage. So just gonna reheat that quickly. And I'm also going to move my liver onto a plate. Simple as that. So same pot, just take it back to the heat. Give your liver just a few seconds to cool off. And basically remember, this is just all going to combine into something that's gonna go well together. So as I'd mentioned, we do have some matoke still sitting on the side here, which I'm going to show you what we're gonna do with. So very simply, cut your matoke lengthways into half and just start adding that into your pot. And remember, this is already pre-cooked, so very easily, it's only about just finishing off the dish. So just cut that like that, all the way to the very last piece. You should actually start to feel a kind of burn coming from the pan. Don't actually assume it's a mistake. No, it's very allowed. So all you need to do now is just a bit of oil in there. Mix your matoke really quickly. And basically all you want is that matoke to just absorb that beautiful leftover taste from that liver that you fried up earlier. And now to that, we're just going to finish off by adding our kale. Put that aside, and all you're left to do now is give it a quick mix. Remember, your bananas are already cooked, so all you do is give it one quick mix and just allow that to cool on the pot. Just give that a few minutes and it should actually be ready to go in a short while. So ladies and gentlemen, that is the very simple steps you can actually use to start off your liver, and just a very quick technique of doing some kale with some bananas. But now we are going to go into a short break. I have to clean this mess anyway, but when we do come back, I'm going to show you how to finish off this beautiful dish and pair it with a very beautiful smoothie that you're all gonna enjoy. So please don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who are just catching up with us, we've been working on a very simple dish today. We were working on some fried liver, some beautiful kale with some pre-cooked bananas, and we're just finishing off the last part of the dish, which is basically a smoothie. So I'm just going to start off by just adding all my ingredients into my blender here, but very particularly I am going to add them in a very, very different kind of system. Remember, particularly for the radish and the carrot, they're a little tougher. The tomato is very gentle, so this is particularly the ingredient I would go with first. So I'll add just a few pieces in there and then go in with about half of that radish. And all you need to do now, I like to measure out the water in the same cup I'll probably serve it in, so probably just about half of that. So remember, one particular beautiful thing about a naturally done smoothie, it should actually not exceed 50% liquid and 50% pulp. So this is actually where we're only measuring out just about half a cup of water. So I'm just going to add that in there. And we're going to direct it this way quickly. If you can be able to see that from the cameras. Alright, so something to remember every time you make a smoothie, always pair your ingredients really well. If you've got something like a carrot that might actually ruin your blender if you put too much in at once, always start with a bit of liquid. It will actually give the carrot a little more room to work. So last but not least, just one whole peeled carrot. And then back to the blender. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a very, very simple smoothie that you can be able to make yourselves. And the beautiful part about this particular ingredients, they are actually good for you and they're very, very good for detox. So this, I would just normally pour that into a cup or a glass like that. Now just serve that on the side like that. And now next up, just to finish off something that we had already begun. Basically, it's just to finish off the liver that we have next to us. So start off by firstly heating up your pan. Just give it a few minutes to heat up. And to that you will add just a little bit of oil. And next up, all you need to do now is grab some of that beautiful liver that you've pre-cooked. I'm actually going to make just a little bit of it so that you can be able to see. So to that, very, very simply, just start portioning out just about half of that into a plate or a bowl. Right, so basically my reason for measuring it out on the side, I just wanted to be able to explain to you one of the many techniques you could use to measure out a perfect portion for an adult. And this is particularly a very useful way to do so. This particular bowls come standardly measured out in quantity. So basically, if you can be able to fill it right to the top, especially with protein, this particularly gives you a very, very good portion for an adult size. So just to finish that off, very simply, I'll be using some cherry tomatoes. So I'll start off by just cutting those in half. And this is particularly just to help them break up really well once they get into the pan. So very simply, cherry tomatoes in and your liver in as well. And just what you need to do, just keep tossing this at high heat. And now just to give that a bit of that beautiful color, a bit of some fresh parsley. So very easily just fold that into a nice little cluster and just let your knife do the rest for you. Right, simple as that. Parsley in. And now all you need to do is just give that a quick toss. And just allow those flavors to really just marinate and just mix really well in there. All you're left to do now is just season that with a small pinch of salt. Give it another toss once more. and then just turn off the heat, and this is now ready to serve. All right, simple as that. So onto the plate, we're gonna start off with that beautiful kale and bananas that I made earlier. Just going to bring my pot closer. And all I'm going to do now is just try and separate those bananas from the kale, just to be able to make it a little easier to plate. And all I'll do now is start off with a bit of that beautiful kale. I'll just have that slide onto the plate like that. And then a couple of banana pieces there. Right, simple as that. And now for some of that beautiful liver that we've just finished off, just going to grab a nice big spoon and try and just get a nice beautiful medley of those beautiful liver pieces and those beautiful tomatoes. So those I'll just place on the side like that. Probably just a little bit more. Right around the sides like that. And just to finish off, place the rest right over the top. And that particularly would make for a very, very beautiful, healthy dinner option for you and your family. As I said, the liver is particularly beautiful for the fact that it's very rich for your blood. Your blood does really need the beautiful nutrients that come with it. The bananas are very, very good for you, very good substitute for your carbohydrates. And of course, last but not least, that beautiful kale, which is beautiful for vitamin A, D, C, and E. And basically, all you have in front of you is a bundle of a very, very beautiful and healthy meal. My name is Chef Andy, and I'm definitely hoping you've learned something new today and something you can use in your kitchen at home. I have definitely had fun showing you how to make this today. And until the next episode, where we continue to bring you some nutritious, budget-friendly, and easy-to-make dishes, it has been very well being with you today. So until the next episode, have a lovely evening, have a lovely year, and see you soon. Bye-bye.